Welcome back to What Are Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Object 261, it's the Tier 10 Soviet SPG. This one's located on the westbourne of Sand River Encounter, and it's under the command of Mike 1963_1. Game on. I always think this one looks like a carpet. Yes, the camouflage is a bit, well, bright. Okay, well, it looks like he's going to head for the back near the normal spawn point and aim for the enemy up near the confrontation point, which is nearly in the centre where you get those dunes. In fact, we've got a 122 TM just turned up and we're almost loaded. Okay, it's an 18cm howitzer capable of doing 800 alpha. Rams out the Centurion. Direct hit! Non-penetrating shot, 394 hit points, and nice stun. That looks like an AFK. Well, he started moving, but I think he's probably a bit peeved at the moment because all of a sudden he's lost a huge amount of hit points and he hasn't really been in the game yet. Okay, we've got a Scorpion up on the heights. He looks a good target. Very low armor on the Scorpion G. He's pulling back because he knows he was spotted. Rounds out. That's a blind shot. But it looks like it was very close to the aim point. Okay, you probably do know, but this is the Arty with the longest range in the game. Yes, it can fire over the entire range of the map. It's also the most accurate Arty in the game, has very fast Arty shells, which means the shells do get there quite a bit quicker than the other Arty, and it's fairly mobile because it's based on the IS-7 hull. Rounds out on the ST-1. He actually stunned the T-30 at the same time. T-30's got rid of his stun, but the ST-2 hasn't. That may be because he's already used his first aid kit and therefore he's a bit handicapped at the moment. That looks like a good confrontation point if you want to pick up stun assist at the moment. Of course, stun assist does improve the score and the category that you get. There's the Centurion 7-1 that he fired at first in the game, and he's now out of the game altogether. Meanwhile, up on top of the hill we've got an ST2. We're dialing in. Rounds out. Well, splashes the ST2, but again he's put stun on them. And yet again it appears the T30 actually got rid of his stun straight away, but the ST2 didn't, and Mike is picking up some stun assist. In fact, that ST2's in a whole world of trouble because he's caught in the crossfire now and he's having to pull back, but I think he's left it a little too late. I would actually aim for the T30 because he can get a shot on that T30 and our guys are about to overwhelm him, and if he stunned him he'd pick up a load of stun assist. Going for the Panzerkampfwagen 7. It landed right next door to him, but it was a little further away, so he didn't get a huge amount of damage off that shot. The enemy ST2's been killed, and I think their T30 went down as well. So our guys are now progressing south towards their spawn point. We're going to go for the Tortoise hiding up on the hill. He's already taking fire, but of course if he side onto us, Mike's going to extract a large amount of hit points out of him. Rounds out. Oh, just at the last minute the guy moves, but he still gets a direct hit, and he got some stun assist off that one, trapped him in place. It looks like he's facing the wrong direction as well, which means our guys are going to get a few free shots in. SU-130PM, which again, very lightly armoured, makes a very good target for Arty. The more lightly armoured tanks you hit, the more likely you're going to take them out of the game, or at least get a penetrating shot. Going for the T-92s, backing up, rounds out. Here we go, this is going to be... Oh, it was so close. I felt sure that that was going to hit the target, but it didn't. Now, if you're wondering why the reticule is white all of a sudden instead of green as it normally would be, I think that's a mod error which probably won't get corrected for a little while. But in the meantime, we're coping with it because we've still got a reticule to work with, even if it's white. Line it up, rounds out, and... oh, we got him! He took a couple of hits just before our shot went in. Mike got the kill shot by splashing him to death. So he's got that one. It's his first kill. There's only 6 enemy tanks left, including one of their Artys, the T92. Well, they've only got one Arty, a T92 HMC. Mike's relocating to get a better angle on the enemy. He's not relocating because he's under threat, although, technically speaking, I suppose he might fear that that Charfu 204 could head in this direction. I think if that Charfu 204 was spotted, the Waffenträger and the Scorpion G would probably see him. But Mike's taking the precautionary measure anyway of relocating, and of course he'll get a better angle on some of the enemies. Okay, the Sheridan's turned up near the enemy cap, and we just lost our Scorpion G. And he's gone into the dunes to start taking shots. The Scorpion's right on the edge of the riverbed, on the join. And, okay, they've seen the AP AMX-30, the Alto prototype. Well, he got some stun assist off that one, so that worked. And more damage going in, more stun assist being earned. And that Leopard's probably going to get a few shots in. He does. And that AMX-30 is about to expire. He's very low on hit points now. One shot's all it's going to take. And there's the kill shot from the Leopard. Okay, so we're still only one up on the enemy. And there's only 5 of them left now. The Sheridan's been seen up in the north. He's on one shot. That was the one that we saw at the river crossing. Lining up a shot, hoping he was going to retreat, but he didn't. He actually went forward instead. So now he probably does need to move and to get towards the south, because the Sheridan's probably going to try and get a cap interrupt, because there's 2 enemy vehicles in the cap. Well, 2 of our vehicles, rather, I should say, not enemy. We've got the Leopard prototype and the Ferdinand. The 122's taken over the cliffs above us, so the enemy's not going to come up behind us now. That Charfu 204 must be stuck or just not engaged in this battle. The Sheridan's turned up, but the 122 TM should be able to engage here. It's probably a good idea for Mike to stop here and help the 122, because the Sheridan's trying to get round behind the 122. And if he's focused on the 122, he's not going to be too happy if he gets an RT round up his rear. In fact, that might actually dampen his day, because of course he's got very thin armour. In fact, he's now starting to find out from the Leopard prototype what it's like. And, oh, he's having difficulty trying to aim at that target. There's the Char Future. The Sheridan's gone. So we've seen the Char Future now, and we're down to 4 tanks each, because we just lost... well, we did lose one of our teammates. In fact, we lost one of the guys who was camping. So the enemy have got their reset. But they've got less hit points than we've got, so we're still with a game. Must admit, it's gone a bit quiet. I think the Leopard prototype needs to go to the north bank of the river, because the Charfu 204 is probably there. And if he's not there, holding that position will actually give them dominance of the game. Now he's going along the riverbed at the moment, trying to hunt for that Charfu 204. Meanwhile, the 122 TM's going down the other side of the riverbank, trying to spot the enemy. It's very much a tactical game now. Well, Mike's decided to get a little closer, and now the Chaff Future comes into sight, so he stops immediately. And you'll see how quickly the Object 261 dials in. It really does dial in very quickly. I think that's a compensation for having such a narrow arc of fire. It's only 5 degrees either side of the centre line. Unfortunately, he couldn't get that lined up very quickly. He had a bit of a rescue stick moment. So he actually fired that round, not knowing if the Chaff Future 4 was there, but I don't think he was. I think he probably moved off from that spot. But he has got a fairly quick reload. The standard reload for this Arty is, if I remember correctly, something like 37 seconds, or is it 38? Oh! Okay, we just took a round from the Scorpion G, so he needs to stop in this little dip here. It's 30.68 seconds, it's the normal reload, and he's actually showing a reload of 30.9 at the moment, which is quite long. He hasn't got a first aid kit either. You should carry a first aid kit and a repair kit, as well as premium consumables on an Arty. That speeds up the reload, otherwise you're more than likely only going to get the reload speed of the standard crew, and that's why he's showing 30.9 instead of 30 or 26 seconds or thereabouts. Scorpion G's coming for him. Now, can he shotgun this guy? Another thing he should do under these circumstances is not go to sniper view. Just hold back a little bit so you can see the vehicle, see the target, and the target's gone unspotted, and that's actually because he's trying to stay as far away as he can, so when he pops up he can get an accurate shot without Mike responding. But here he comes, and that is a shotgun. That worked very, very well indeed, and he moves to get out of the way of the enemy Arty, who doesn't appear to be taking notice of the fact that Mike was spotted. But Mike's down to only 67 hit points now, so he's a one-shot. I have the feeling the T92 can't respond, and that's why he didn't shoot Mike. He didn't shoot Mike because he couldn't. I think he was either on the move or he was in a position where he couldn't return fire. And it may be that he's gone down into that little inlet, that little riverbed, down at the bottom right-hand corner of the map, where he is unable to get a shot out of there at any enemy tank. If he's not there, then he should have responded, and he didn't. Okay, the Chaff Future is now in position. He's got an easy shot at the side rim. Oh! Well, the T92 could actually shoot him, and did, and he was actually in the dip, but he was actually a short distance away. So yes, Mike's gone. He did try to get that Chaff Future 4, but unfortunately he was taken out. But I think they've got this one in the bag, because the enemy's only got 667 left and only 2 tanks against R3. The Striv's capping. I don't see why he should cap, actually, because the Leopard prototype and the 122 TM should be able to take out the enemy. But it would help if they had the support of the Striv. I suppose he's trying to force the others to come out. And there goes the T92, taken out by the 122 TM. And that just leaves the Tortoise, who's supposedly near their spawn point. Now you can see the Leopard prototype's got at least one shot. And the Tortoise is a one shot as well. Only 167 hit points. One shot should be enough. Okay, so take him out now. Yep, nice, that's game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the second class tank of a Mike 1963_1 in the Object 261. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. He also got a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently destroyed by other teammates, and his win rate was high, 2065. Now you got a lovely shotgun on that enemy Scorpion. He probably thought he had an easy kill, but no, when you're facing an 18cm gun right in the face, yeah, I'm afraid you're up against something which is much more powerful. And of course he paid for it. He did get one shot into Mike, but he couldn't finish Mike off, and Mike got him in return. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. No, that went to the IS-7, which of course the Object 261 is based on. He got a high caliber for 4,890 hit points of damage. Second highest damage was the enemy Tortoise with 3,972, and the third highest damage was the Sheridan on Mike's team, who got 3,083. Mike picked up 2,098, which puts him in the top 3 on his team, but not the top 3 overall, because there were 4 enemy tanks who actually got higher than him, plus 2 on his own team, which means that he's in 7th place on damage. He got the Confederate, of course, and the Leopard prototype below him got the Levislayer's medal. And in fact, actually, he was second highest on kills, because the Tortoise managed 5 kills, the Leopard prototype got 4, and then there was 2 kills for Mike, for the Sheridan, and for the Object, not the Object, the T92 HMC on the enemy team. So there was a good Arty player on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, he's a little further down the table, because the 122 TM got 894, the IS-7 got 874, and the Sheridan got 860. Mike got 757, which is actually better than anyone on the enemy team, the losing team, but it actually puts him in 7th place on XP. He fired 12 rounds in his magazine. He actually has 20 rounds overall, so he still had 8 left at the end of the game. 4 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetration. That must have been the Scorpion, because he was so close to the guy when it went off that it went through. I'm just looking now. Yes, it is the Scorpion. 331 hit points, and he penned him because he shot him right in the face. Of course, that round was just going to go right through him. He also got 1,767 hit points at more than 300 meters, so that was the long-range damage. And he received 2 hits. One was the Scorpion, I think, and the other one was, of course, the T92 HMC that finished him off right at the end of the game, and that was the one by Splash as well. 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were destroyed, and 1,200 hit points of stun assist off 9 stuns. Now, he earned 43,280 credits from the game, but after repair and ammunition resupply, he actually made a small loss of 13,243 credits. He got 5 bonds, because it was tier 10 game, and 1,135 XP times 2 for the first victory, took away 2,271 experience points altogether. As he said, it was a game-changing shotgun, yes, because once that Scorpion was out of the way, it was relatively easy for the rest of the teammates to clear up and clean out the last remaining enemy. If that Scorpion had still been around, it would have been a danger to the other teammates, and so by taking him out of the game, yep, he actually made it a lot easier to win. He did get rather close to the enemy. It was right in front of him when he came over that ridgeline. I probably would have shot the moment he actually appeared over the top of the ridgeline, put one straight through him before he even got over it, because then, of course, there was no chance that he could have actually shot Mike, but he still tried to have a go at Mike, just couldn't get his gun down in time. Mike was quicker on the draw, and it all worked out okay. So let's have a quick look at, as we usually do, we're doing this on a regular basis now to actually show the armor and the modules, just to make sure everyone understands. This is an IS-7 in disguise. Yes, that's the tank that donated the hull that came for the Object 261, as a lot of Arty are actually designed from existing tanks. You can see the front plate on the lower plate is actually 65mm, but effective armor is over 100. I think that's slightly angled there. That's better. It's just over 90 actually. The upper plate is 75mm thick. It's actually 123 with the angling. The shield at the back and the sides of the vehicle, you can see it's only 50mm there. It's 30mm at the back. The gun shield at the top there is 50. So yes, that's a little bit better, but it's still not going to stop any high value shell fired at this tank. I think you're going to be very unlucky to have a penetration If you, well, the enemy might fire HE at you to try and penetrate your gun shield, but of course if you do get hit with any round at tier 10, more than likely it's going to go straight through. You can see the rear armor as well, it's only 30mm thick, 20 down there. Any round is just going to go straight through. 30mm, yeah, so not going to stop rounds, I'm afraid. Let's have a look at the modules. Again, engine up front, transmission right in front of the engine. We've got the driver in the crew compartment, the tank commander directly behind him, and behind the gunner is actually on the left hand side of the vehicle as we're looking at it, and also the radio's over there as well, which is kind of odd because you'd think the radio would be next to the tank commander. We've got two loaders right at the back, and they've ammo racks on either side of them, so if you aim for the back of one of these in the actual crew compartment, yeah, it's gonna set off an ammo rack, or should. Fuel tanks are down below at the back, but they're covered by the tracks, so you're not likely to get at them, so you probably won't set off a fire unless you land a shell directly inside this crew compartment here. And if you do land a shell inside, if you're an enemy Arty, more than likely you're going to kill all the crew anyway, and they're going to be out the game. So yes, that's where all the modules are on the Object 261. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.